Hi guys, it's Linda. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and I wanted to show you today one of my Christmas projects. Now this is something I made for Stamp Club, and I've done it in a couple of different colours. Okay, so you can hopefully see here, it's a box there's a little tea light candle, the battery operated kind, not the real kind, the battery operated kind inside my box, which I've decorated. I've added, bits and pieces on the side there. But because we've got this little vellum window here in the front, the light shines through that and it looks great. I did another one in blue and silver. There we go. I hope you can see that okay. When I tip it, if I wanted to be able to tip it, I probably should glue dot the candle into one place, but it's actually sliding around in there. But if you didn't want it to move, you could stick it down, I suppose. I want to show you how I did it. Really easy project, but there's a few steps to it. So I actually made my box with the gift box punch board. Now the gift box punch board is one of 3 different punch boards that we currently offer here at Stampin' Up Australia, and it's very easy to use, but I wanted to show you quickly how I make the box with it. It's got this sliding guide here to help you with your horizontal score line. The scoring tool is hidden away in the bottom here, and all the marks to actually create your box are shown here. The measurements for different size boxes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 different size boxes right here, from small to the largest, which is actually this size. This is the large one. So for this one, it tells me this is a 4 by 4 by 4 inch box. There's also centimeters if you prefer the centimeter measurements. I'm quite comfortable with the inches. So the 4 by 4 box, which is this one, uses a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, so you don't even need to cut it if you're just using a piece of 12 by 12. It tells us where to start on the XL line, and our diagonal score line is also going to be on the XL line. So what I do is I pop it in, and I pop it so that the edge of my paper is on this XL line. I butt it right up against, as far up against this this piece here as I can. It says here this is the start line. So to use it, the first thing we do is we punch, so that puts the punch notch in. Then I put my scoring tool into the center and I follow along that horizontal score line, and oops, better if I stay in the groove, and then the vertical one. And while this is in this position, I go to the XL score line here and I score down just as far as the first line that I made. You may or may not be able to see that there. So here is the diagonal score line, horizontal and vertical. You then turn your paper by 90 degrees and do exactly the same thing again. So put it up against the start line, punch. It's actually quite an easy punch too. You don't need a lot of muscle. Diagonal, so pop it in there, and this time it goes down into that center piece. I turn it, and so you do that 4 times, once on each side, and as you can see it's quite quick. Right. Oh, sorry, I meant to do the last one. I missed it. You can always, if you do forget, you can always go back in and do it again. So that's easy. Okay. Then we're going to turn one last time and do that 4th side. So this is how you use the gift box punch board to make a basic box. And yeah, it's very easy. Right. Then we've done 1 groove on each side, all the scoring. Okay, we actually need to do a 2nd groove because there should be 2 grooves on each side. So I'm actually going to flip the whole thing over and put it back into the same place. This time we don't need to score, we've done our scoring. You just do a punch on each side. And one last one. Okay, then we can get rid of that. Pop it all away, we don't need it anymore. I'll put my scoring tool away. Okay, the colour paper I'm using today is Pool Party. But the box looks good in all kinds of colours. I'm just going to fold along those score lines that I've just made. Okay, now these ones all fold the same way, or what we call value folds, they go down. However, the diagonal lines that are here at the side, these ones, fold the opposite way. So that's what we call a mountain fold, because it goes up like a mountain. So the diagonal ones fold the opposite way. So just sort of pinch those in with your fingers. Okay, your box is actually ready at this point. So you're going to be, when it goes together, it's going to go together like, you can see quite quickly how easy it is to put together. All right. However, what we now need to do before we try and put our box together is we need to actually do the hole for the window. Okay, so this is the bit where it can be a little tricky. All right, so I'm actually going to fold. I'm going to bring my big shot over. Do it on this side so you can better see what I'm doing. In fact, I'll bring it this way so we can better see, and then I can actually also easily turn the handle. All right. So you want to fold it over, okay, so that these bits are on the inside. And then I'm actually going to use these two circles from, which you can use any two circles if you've got some nested circle framelits, but you need to make sure that you've got two, whichever two sizes you're using, the smaller one and the larger one, they fit one inside the other, okay. I'm going to use the smaller one for the hole, okay. So I've decided that I'm putting my hole here, okay, and I want to have my framelit cutting edge, you can feel the lip of the edge, down towards the paper, okay, I want it like that, so I just center it in there. I don't want to face it the other way because then it will cut through these pieces. I want it only to cut this piece. And I'm using washi tape. You could also use post-it notes or something to hold it in place so that it's not going to move around. Washi tape or post-it notes are thin enough that they won't add any bulk when you're cutting through your big shot. Okay, so I've got that in place. It's not going anywhere. I can fold these over. Right. And I'm going to just pop that through. I'm using the magnetic plate and two cutting plates. And I'll just bring that back. And I'm just going to run that through. Now you don't need to roll the whole thing through. So just until you kind of feel the circle release, and roll it back again. See how we went. See if I got it right. You can always see, turn it over to this side and make sure it did cut out okay. Yes, it did. Okay, and then very carefully, I'm going to peel my washi tape off. Okay. I could leave that on if I was doing multiple ones. I've already got the washi tape attached to the small circle. There's the circle that it cut out. Okay, so now I've got my hole here in the one side. If you're doing hole on a window on both sides of the box, then you would do the same thing at the other end. I'm just doing the one because I quite like the way that the light shines through it when it's just the one. Okay, now it does leave marks of the indent of the back of the circles, back of the framelits here on the inside piece. That's okay because this piece is going to be hidden inside your box anyway, so that doesn't matter. And that's fine. Of course, it doesn't hurt the other end because we didn't roll that part through. So all good. All right, so that's as far as we need to go with that at the moment. The other thing that I think looks good is when you're doing closures. Let me just take the ribbon off this for a second. It's easiest just to slide your ribbons on and off if you're going to do a ribbon. Okay, you can see that I've done it lots of times, but we've got this little clasp at the top. Now that's also made by the same board, except instead of using this side of the board, we use the opposite side. And I did mine with the two pieces that are opposite each other. So I put one in here. So you're doing the other side of the punch now. And see how it makes rounds off the corner and gives you this little indent? Turn it around. Don't flip the paper. If you flip the paper over, it will actually do the bit the wrong way. So just turn it around. And then your two pieces, when you're ready, are going to go together like that. I don't know if you can see. And they probably won't go together because I'm making a video. That's how that works. But it does work. There you go. That's how it's going to look when you're finished. Okay. Alright, so we've done our edges. We are completely finished with this now. I'll bring this back. Actually, yes. So now I don't need this for a little while. I'll put it to one side and I'm going to work on the pieces that go to make up the little picky. Alright, so I need to get my large and my small circle to make my frame. Now this time I've decided to use a gold frame. When you're using glimmer paper, if you are using glimmer paper for this, my suggestion is when you're using framelits, cut from the reverse side. It will work if you do it the other way, but it's actually the paper at the back that sort of holds it all together. So by cutting this and having this closer, it actually cuts a little easier and will give you a better finish. So we're going to put one down. I'm going to put a piece of glimmer paper down. Don't forget too, when you're cutting, it's the inside edge of the framelits that cuts. So I'm just going to line that up so that it's an even frame. Okay, having the magnetic plate really helps a lot because it doesn't move on the board when you put it through. Oops, except I just moved it. Didn't do that right, did I? Just do that again. Okay, I'm happy with that now. I need new cutting plates. Luckily, they're not expensive. Okay, so I'm going to put that through, roll it. It's a little awkward because I would normally do this standing up, but I'm doing it sitting down for the purpose of the video. Okay, we'll pull that off, and we now have ourselves a gold frame. You can discard the circle part and leave that. We'll use that for something else, but we've got the frame ready to go. Now, also the large size, so the larger of the two, so we did our hole in our box with the small, made the frame with both, and now we're going to use a piece of vellum, and I'm using the larger frame for this because I actually need to stick this behind the frame. Okay, so I want the larger size. So easy to do, just cut that straight up. I made this with my Stamp Club group yesterday and they loved it, so that was fun. I have another Stamp Club group next week. I try and always do something a bit special for the Christmas Club, something that they wouldn't have seen before. Alright, so we've got our vellum circle, and then I'm actually going to use the softly falling framelit, this one here, to create the dots or the snow on the circle. Now, we need to not use the magnetic plate for this because we need it to be a little bit more room when it goes through, so there's not quite as much pressure. So we open it up to tab 1, pop your cutting plate down, position your framelit, your embossing folder over your vellum. Now where you put this depends on this framelit. It's a bit tricky for you to see. I'll do it this way. Is that it's a lot more, the dots are a lot closer together at this side and more sporadic down here. So my suggestion is decide where you want this. I want it to be fairly sporadic. I don't want it to be too intense with the snow, so I'm putting it about halfway down. What's nice is when you emboss vellum, it actually goes white, which for the purposes of this is perfect. So quickly run that through and you'll see what I mean. So when we open it, not only does it emboss it, but it also, the pressure of the paper means that it goes white as well, and it really does look like snow. Okay. I am going to use that one more time, so I'll do that while I've still got it here. I've actually already run this one through. I'm using the little houses from the sleigh ride set. On these ones you can see I use the sleigh ride, the actual sleigh with the horse, but there's 3 different framelits, and actually these are on our discontinued list, so these will be retiring at the end of this catalogue. So if you do love them, you'll need to speak to your demonstrator and grab yourself one. If you don't have a demonstrator and you're in Australia, I'll put my blog address in the comments below so that you can visit my store and order them if you'd like to through the store. So there's the little sleigh, and there's also little Christmas trees or little pine trees, so there's some really nice things that you can do with these. Alright, so for this we want to go back to our magnetic plate again. And I'm using my magnetic platform again. And now, I've already cut these. What am I thinking? Right, but I need now to use the small, not the large, the small circle to cut out the shape that I want at the bottom, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, and once again I'll do it from behind. Okay, so I'm going to put this down, and how far will I go with that? About there. I just want it at the bottom of my, I can go a little higher if I want to, maybe a tiny bit more. I'm using the black glimmer paper, also on the retiring list. This one's going to run out as well. The stock is available if it's on the retiring list until the 4th of January, or unless it sells out before that. So just bear that in mind. If there's something you love, you may need to grab it to make sure that you're going to get it. Right, so there's my little houses. Also, I would normally get my pokey tool and pop those little the little windows out of the houses. I might do that in a second. Not having my pokey tool close to hand, use whatever you can find. You can use the end of your framelits. How about that? Probably not technically what they're for, but I didn't think of that before I started. So yeah, anyway, it gives you some ideas. Okay, and so we've got a few little holes there. Okay, so now I don't need this again. I don't think. Alright, so to put these together, I've got my frame and I've got my snow, my vellum, okay, and I used glue dots for this. Now, glue dots are my favourite adhesive for popping together things that are, especially 3D stuff. They're just so good, and vellum and glue dots are like a marriage made in heaven. So I would put a glue dot just here and there along every inch or two, just going around and adding the glue dots to the back of the framelit. 5 or 6 is usually enough. Need another one. Yep, that's about right. Now, easiest way to do this is actually face down. So pop your glimmer paper on there, okay, and then I want my dots to be up. So I'm actually positioning, it's easier to do it this way because you can see through the vellum to see where you should be positioning it, and then just pop it over. Okay, so I've now got a glimmery, vellumy bit. Okay, that's not the technical term. This little guy, I'm actually going to put some glue dots on the back of him as well, just a couple. 1, 2 or 3. Another glue dot. Okay, maybe 3. Okay, and then where do I want to position that? I'll go there. So because you've used a smaller size circle, it fits on the inside of the frame. Isn't that cool? Just like that. Okay, now we've got to go back and attach this. So once again, you want glue dots on the back of this, and it's going to position straight over here. Now, if you wanted to add stamping, I've used the Wonderland set to make just faint or subtle pine trees on my piece here, and you certainly can do that as well. In fact, I might do that. Okay, I'm just thinking, would that be? I won't bore you by doing that now, but anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to go around the edges again. You do use a lot of glue dots for this project, but hey, that's what they're for. And I actually really love using them because they just make a project easy. Another one there. Okay, so you just keep adding them until you're happy with how many you have. If there's any gaps, sort of check it out. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then this is going to get positioned. I find it's easier if you have something dark under here so that you can see. I'll just use my diary, how about that? Because I can see where that is through there. With something black, it would be even better. Maybe black glimmer paper. Alright, and you can see how that goes. Okay, so I will show you how to do these. I'm not going to actually do it because I'm actually going to stamp some trees to do it, but you're going to see it's going to end up like this. So I would put some glue along here, and I actually put it on the inside first along, actually not there, on this diagonal one. Now you need to make sure, this is really important, that these two edges go onto the sides. You do not want to stick these behind your window because then you won't be able to see through your window and your candlelight won't come through. So you want to make sure that this one and this one go onto the side pieces, and then this one and this one go onto the side pieces. So that'll get glued down, that falls in line with that. Then this one goes glued down and falls in line with that, and so on. Alright, until you have your box like so. Alright, now for this one I'm actually going to tie the, I love this striped vellum, striped satin ribbon. Also being discontinued at the end of the catalogue unless it sells out first. So it's another item to grab if it's something. I just love the width of it. I bought some more yesterday, so I've got plenty. I think it'll be great for wrapping my Christmas presents as well. But you can see how that comes together. Okay, so a couple of examples. There's silver with the little tea light inside. And I did purchase the tea lights from just like a little cheapy shop, like a reject store or something like that, and you just turn them on at the bottom, so they're battery operated and certainly not going to cause any problems. This is a great decoration piece, so you could put it on a table, or you could put it as part of your Christmas display or near your Christmas tree. Lots of nice things. It'd be a great gift as well. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I did that, and I hope you're enjoying. I've made this as part of the blog hop this month for the Grand Vacation Achievers. So if you would like to see what the other girls came up with, please scroll down in my blog post and you'll see all their gorgeous creations. Have a great day, guys. Merry Christmas to you all if you don't hear from me again before Christmas. Thank you. Bye.